Perfect. Thank you. All right. Thank you guys for jumping on the call today. I have not led a team call by myself. And if you know me before Beachbody, you would know that I don't do things like this. I am like public speaking, like paranoid. I remember when Kim and Andy both had me on like a call with them when I first started, and I kept calling them all day, like, I don't think I can do it. No, I don't think I can do it. I really, maybe you guys should just do it and I'll just listen. And they're like, no, you have to do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be sick. But anyway, I wanted to start by just telling my story. I know some of you guys have heard it, but I feel like we need to get into the habit of telling our stories over and over and over again, because that is what everybody does. They tell their story. I've been listening to a lot of the top coaches this last week, and that is the one thing that they kept saying over and over and over again, is that they tell their story every single week, like no one's heard it before. And it's just really good practice to get people to know you when you get new listeners. So I think we should take turns doing this call and telling our stories. I'm going to start tonight, just basically give you guys a little bit of a background. I went to school with Andy, went to high school together, but I didn't know her in high school. But I was Facebook friends with her because we had mutual friends, I guess. So she reached out to me this July, will be 2 years ago. Well, she reached out to me months before that, but I finally joined a challenge group with her in July of 2017. And when I joined the challenge group, I had absolutely no interest in coaching. I didn't even know that I could coach. It wasn't something that was even on my radar. I thought she was this fitness person and she was going to put together this weight loss thing, and I was just going to do it because I was done yo-yoing back and forth. I had told her for 4 months that I was going to the gym and I didn't need her help, but I wasn't actually going to the gym consistently, and I was definitely not getting any results. So I finally decided, okay, like I'll do this challenge with you and whatever. And within 2 weeks, I realized like the community was so much fun that I wanted to be part of it. And when I signed up with her, it was the week that they were leaving to go to Summit. So Summit 2 summits ago. And I remember watching her, like once I signed up with her, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch her now because I don't know much about her. She keeps talking about this trip that she's going on. And I instantly had FOMO. Like I know that everybody's different, but I'm somebody who totally thrives on being in groups of people and is super reward driven and recognition driven. So I'm watching her at this trip and I'm like, I want to be there. I want to be wearing a fancy dress. I want to take pictures with all these people. And so it started that little seed. And even then I didn't think like, well, I want to do what she's doing. I just thought like, how fun. I wish I could do that. But and all the laundry list of reasons why I couldn't do that. So 2 weeks into the program, we met and I said, okay, I really love this shake because I have a thyroid condition. I've had my whole life and I've never been able to balance my thyroid. I've always had issues with digesting food and just feeling sick. And this shake has been the only thing that I've noticed that has helped with that. So I have to keep drinking this shake, that I know. And I do love the workout. So how can I get this shake cheaper? Because she had mentioned at that point some way of getting a discount. I met her for coffee and was like, okay, I'll sign up. And I'm just solely signing up, just so you know, Andy, so I can get this shake at a discount. And if a friend wants to sign up somewhere down the road, like, okay, cool, I'll maybe make some money to pay my shake back that month. And I don't know what happened after that, but I decided, like I said, I'm reward driven. And so she had explained the whole success starter thing. And at this point in time, I had lost probably 10 or 15 pounds, and people were starting to ask me, like people from church, and they were like, what are you doing? You look so good. And it was super natural. And the passion I had for the way I was feeling, not necessarily like that I was losing weight, but that I was feeling so much better, was just coming out of my mouth to everybody that I talked to. So I remember sitting down with her and saying like, okay, I need to earn this success starter thing. And people are talking to me like, I'm not even approaching people. They're coming up to me and asking me what I'm doing. And so it's really like, this thing is really easy. Like I could just sign all my friends up. And so the first few months was, I hit Success Club 10, actually the first 10 or more, until from like July to the following February. And that's when it got tough. But it was leading from passion and people noticing, and the fact that I was so driven to get recognized. Like I kept checking that leaderboard and I was like, oh my gosh, how did I even make it on the leaderboard? Like, I don't even know how you do that. but I just fed off of that energy. And as every month went by and I was building and having people join in challenge groups, I started signing up them as coaches because, again, they were like sticker shock with the shake price. And so I just naturally was like, you can get it for a discount. You don't have to coach. You can just get it as a discount. And so I naturally started building up customers and coaches that way. And as that happened, and they would tell their friends and their friends would tell their friends. And I noticed I started to kind of stop talking about it as much because it seemed like I was hitting Success Club 5. And back then my mentality was like, well, I already hit 5. Like, I just want to save some people so that next month I can just sign them up and then I'll be at 5 again. Like, I didn't have that like drive to hit anything higher. I just wanted to hit the minimum. I wanted to be, a Success Club person every single month. And so I started to take my foot off the gas a little bit. And it wasn't until probably that following February, which is now, a year ago, that I started to notice that it was getting hard to get people to sign up. Like, they had a lot more questions. They didn't really know exactly what it was that I did because I wasn't talking about it enough. And so I really started to feel the pressure then. And so all that to say that here I am now. This is my 21st month in a row hitting Success Club. And it's been tough. And I think, certain times of the year are harder because of, kids and things come up. But the biggest thing that I keep going back to is it's only harder because I'm not working as hard. I'm not showing up every single day like I was in the beginning. I mean, every single day I was calling a friend and telling them about the shake. Every single day I was, people were stopping and we were talking and I would bring it up. Like, I was just so consistent in the beginning because I was getting really good results. And then I got to my goal weight and then I was like, well, like, I'm just going to stay here. And it's still my story that like doing the shakes and doing the workouts every day helps me to stay consistent. And I've never in my life been able to lose the weight and stay in that place ever. And so that's a huge, huge thing to talk about as well. But I've really struggled the last couple of months, and I just keep going back to like, what's changed? Like, people are, like, maybe it's because my warm market is gone, which it's not. There's still plenty of friends and family that haven't signed up, I haven't talked to, because, you have that group of people in your mind that you're like, okay, I'll ask my mom and my friend and my this and that. But like, that group of friends over there, I don't know if I'm gonna ask them. Like, they might think I'm weird, or they might like say no to me and talk about me, or, you have that group. And I had that group for so long that I was like, I'll ask everybody. And if I really need to, I'll ask them. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be like leading from passion. Like, you should be passionate about what you're doing because it does make a difference, and let that just flow without having so many guidelines on yourself about who you can talk to about it and how often you should talk to certain people about it, or check back with people, feeling like you're nagging people, instead of having that mindset of like, I'm being salesy and I'm being naggy and I'm talking to them again. Have that mindset switch of I'm here to help you change your life. Like, my life has been changed from this, and I know that yours can too. And what would that look like for you? Like, what would it look like if you lost 30 pounds and you were able to keep it off for 2 years? Like, how different would that change things for you? And we have that gift that people just don't know about. So we have to be super consistent. And I know that people say that all the time, but being at the Success Club trip and listening to the top coaches who, are huge in the company say the exact same thing, it just kind of like brought it back to me. Like, this is really all that it is. It's being passionate about what you do and being consistent about talking about it every single day. So I want to go over some of the things. So when I was at the Success Club trip, they had a panel. So one of the days, and I videoed the whole thing, but I can't figure out how to upload it. So I'm going to ask him. I think I can upload it to YouTube, and then I can share it in the team page so you guys can actually listen to the whole 45 minutes of them talking, because basically it was open panels. So people would get up and ask questions, and then they would all take turns answering the questions. So I found it really helpful. But the top 3 or 4 things that I heard them all say over and over again was to create and share your vision with your team. So like, if you are a coach and you want to be top 10, you want to be elite, you want to be a Success Club all-star legend, like, okay, so what does that look like for you? Like, what are the steps that you need to take? What's the dream? What's the goal? And then work backwards from there to create the vision so that you can share with your coaches and paint that vision for them, because you're their leader. You're the reason they signed up, and they're looking to you to create this vision for them. So create your own vision, create goals for yourself, even if they're, you want to have a huge goal and you break it down into monthly goals. Like, create those goals every month and then share that with your team. The second thing that they said was ask questions, which this has been a big thing for me these last couple of months. I realized I was kind of turning more into too salesy. Like, I know that I have something that's good. And so I kind of started leading with like, you just have to trust me. And that works like with your friends and that works with your family. But when you're like building a relationship with people on Instagram and then you're like, just trust me, like works this way, this works with the shakes and the meal plan and the workouts all together, like, a 3-piece thing. Like, sometimes they don't know you. So why would they trust you? So that doesn't really work with everybody. So ask questions to your customers. That's one of the things that they said over and over again. Don't just sell a challenge pack to somebody. Ask them what they've done in the past, fitness related or nutrition related, and what have they tried that's worked and what have they tried that's not worked, and where are they at right now? Like, what are they looking for right now? Because if they're messaging you back at all, they need something. So ask them the questions. What are you looking for? What's worked for you in the past? Where do you usually stumble? And then kind of get to know them. And that way they feel like you're really trying to get to know them individually, and then picking out either a challenge pack or like a specific program challenge pack if you know that they want some equipment or whatever. Just kind of get to know what they want and then personalize that for them. So asking questions. I think all the elite coaches said that over and over again. Ask questions. And they also said that one of the questions someone in the audience asked is, how do you know who to ask if they want to coach and who to keep as a customer and not offer the coach discount to? And they kind of had split ideas on how they do that, but overall they kind of agreed on the fact that they don't play God. So they don't decide who gets to be a coach and who doesn't. If they are talking to somebody and they're offering them, they're asking them to join their challenge group or nutrition program, and they say yes, they say, okay, perfect. So we have 2 options. You can sign up with this program as a coach and get a discounted price, or you can sign up as a customer. This is the difference. These are the reasons why. You could do one or the other. Which one do you want? So instead of being like signing them as a challenger and then a couple weeks later saying, trying to convert them to coaching, it's you kind of just right out of the gate basically say, okay, perfect. You want to do this? These are your 2 options. Do you want A? Do you want B? Then one of the girls was saying, like, at that point in time, don't worry about asking them to coach because they've already committed to it. They're not going to say, you know what, never mind, I don't want to do either. Like, that's not going to be their response. Ask them questions and don't assume that you know them enough to know whether or not they would be a good coach. Kind of offer that to everybody. Number 3 was to be bold and not assume. Go live. So back to what I was saying, be bold. Don't assume that people just want to be challengers. Just kind of offer that to everybody and go live in your social media a lot, talking about what you're doing and offer them more. Like, one of the girls was saying, how do I know, how do I bring back, let's say I have a coach who's all gung-ho and she's doing the programs and she's loving it. And a couple months later, she's like, I don't know, I feel really salesy. Like, I don't know if this is for me. And they were saying that happens to all of them all the time. They have these coaches that they sign up all the time who are gung-ho, who have these big goals, and then they just decide that they aren't sure this is for them anymore. And one of the things that they said was to ask them. If that happens, more often than not, someone has said something to them, or they've had a bad conversation with a new customer, or something has happened to trigger that loss of confidence. So basically, she said, go back and look at your social. She takes her coaches and she goes to their social media page. And if all they're doing is sharing shakes and sweaty selfies, then they are really just selling. They need to be showing more of their life. So she takes them back to their, like, what are your hobbies and what do you like to do with your family? Like, these are all the things that you should be sharing on your social media daily, because we're not just sharing shakes and workouts. Like, we're sharing our life and we're trying to get people to have a glimpse into what it is that we do as coaches. And we do everything, right? We don't just work out and drink shakes every day. So sharing all of you on social media to build that trust and build that connection with your audience. Be willing to learn and adapt. So all the time. I mean, if you ask him and Andy, they'll tell you the same thing. Like where they started as coaches is not where they are now. Like Instagram was not huge when they started coaching. It was more Facebook. And now you see the shift over to Instagram with stories and Instagram, what is it, TV? Instagram TV? Clearly I don't use that. But so be willing to learn and adapt. One of the girls had asked, I think her name was Danielle Natoni. They asked her, when you sign new coaches, like, do you do like a superstar training? Like everyone wants to know how these top coaches are coaching their coaches to make them so successful. And Danielle was a little bit different from the pack. She said that it's like a sink or swim. Like she can't get down in the trenches with you until you basically prove that you're ready to run with her. And she said, I tell my new coaches, you have Google, YouTube, and the FAQ. So everything that you need to know is in these 3 places, and you need to be willing to look for your answers before asking your coach everything, because you need to show that you can find these answers. There's so much information, which is what makes it so overwhelming sometimes, because there's so much to know, but the information is all there for you to find. Let's see. Talked about goal setting. Do you guys have like specific goals that you want to share that you have for your team? Have you written things down? Do you have a vision board? That's something that I had done in the past and haven't really done lately. I just keep saying I want to be elite. I want to be elite. But like, then I go, well, how do I be elite? What do I even need to know? So I keep saying to Andy, I'm going to print out the qualifications for elite and stick it on my mirror, because I want to be elite, but I can't just say it. Like, I'm not being productive if I'm not acting. Actions is what makes you productive. So we need to be better about all the information that we take in every week and in the FAQ, and actually putting that into action instead of just like storing it all in our heads and like sitting there with all this information that we really don't know how to implement. Melanie Mitro said, did a little story when she was up there about how some people say like, it's too expensive. Like, how do you get your team to see the value in Summit and things like Success Club trips when they say that they can't really afford it? And Melanie said, my first year as a coach, I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together, but I knew where I wanted to go in this business. And I knew that going to things like Summit and the Success Club trip were vital to getting me there. And so she said she put money aside to be able to get her ticket to Summit. And when she got there, she said she remembers her and her husband eating at McDonald's every meal and shakes in her room because she did not have any money at all to do anything extra. She said she remembers it like it was yesterday, sitting in her room eating McDonald's and drinking shakes to get through that weekend of Summit. And you do learn so much while you're there, and you get fired up being in that community. It's just really, it was super eye-opening for me last year to go. And I can't wait for us to go this year. Amy Rada, she's somebody that I heard on the National Wake Up Call, like probably in the very beginning when I started. And I thought she was really cute and funky. So I listened to the whole entire call and I was like, hey, she's so cute. And I followed her. Since then, she has blown up. And this time last year, she was, I think, a 1-star coach. And she is a 15-star plus superstar, like whatever, in 1 year. So that just goes to show that it's super possible, anything, like whatever you want to do in this business is possible, because people keep doing it every year. They keep blowing up and hitting these massive goals. And the only thing that they say that they do that's so magical is that they show up every single day. Whether or not you feel like showing up, whether or not you are tired or unmotivated, like you show up every single day for yourself. And people notice, and you just start to build. And she said that she, if she was still working as a teacher at the time, and she said she didn't have time during the day, she would wake up at 4:00 in the morning and do her 50 invites and go to work. And on her lunch break, she would respond to her messages. Like, she just hustled hard for a year. And now she's sitting at number 5 in the company. I think we touched on it a little bit. They asked, what does the top coaches, how do they train their top coaches? And basically I wrote down in big letters, same exclamation point. Like, they do the same thing. They have either what they call coach pods, or what we would say like a Voxer group, or new coach training. Like, they do the same thing. They have all the same information that we are accessible to have in the FAQ or on YouTube, and they put their coaches through that training, and they notice the ones that are runners and they run with them. They are getting down in the trenches with their coaches that are really willing to work, and they're basically doing the same thing. She says, take notice of the runners and bring them along with you. Don't wait and tell your coaches, don't wait to have all the knowledge on how to coach to start coaching, because you're just wasting time. Get in there, start. You have Google, you have YouTube, and you have the FAQ. Figure it out and start going. A quote that they talked about from Jeff Hill, it says, it's the start that stops most people. I thought that was really, really true because you get fired up right in the beginning. You're so fired up and you're like running, you're doing this, and then all of a sudden fear and doubt starts to set in, and you're standing in your own way. So the fear and the start that stops most people. Like, you have to get in there with your new coaches and make sure that they know, where to get them on the new coach training or put them in a Voxer, and know that they just need this information to get started, and that they are scared and they need to push through that. The resources that can be super overwhelming, but the fact that we have so much resources that's overwhelming is kind of amazing. Like, there's nothing that they don't give us to make us successful. We just have to find it and look for it and do it. It's the action that makes you productive, not just having the knowledge. And that's something that I think is so true for myself. Like, I was just saying this to someone today. There's so much information. There's so much that I want that I feel like it kind of stops me in my tracks. Like, I want to do all these things. I want our team to grow. I want to be on stage. I want, all these things, but like, what am I actually physically doing to get there besides the things I need to do to hit Success Club? And that's where I kind of feel like I'm at right now. Like, I've hit Success Club every month. My goal when I first started was to hit it for 24 months in a row. So I go on stage, get a little seat, whatever it is. And now I'm like, that's not enough. Like, it's not enough for me. I don't want to just hit Success Club. I want to build a team of coaches that want to do the same thing. I want to help as many people as we can, to not just to get them started, but to get them results. Like, I was talking to a new customer that I met through Instagram, and she is someone who bought BOD, but like hasn't committed to shakes and hasn't committed to the meal plan. And she's texting me that after she did 21 Day Fix, she fell off and she started eating bad again, and she's not in a group. And I kept telling her on the phone, I said, this is why community is so important. This is why you should be following the meal plan and drinking the shakes, because when we're in this community together, we're so much stronger together. And it's so true, because when we're on our own, it's so much easier just to like not check in for the day, not drink your shake, not really give your workout your all, and just kind of like go about your day. And so that's what I was telling her on the phone today, is that you just have to commit, and not just commit to the program. But I said, if you did 21 Day Fix and you didn't take your pictures before, you don't have anything to compare yourself to after. And if you're not getting results, then what's motivating you to keep going? So I said, it's really imperative that, I told her this, but it's true for us to tell our customers too. They have to take their before pictures, because the whole point that they're here is to get results. And if they're not taking their pictures before, they're not fully committed to the program, they're not doing their measurements, they're not seeing where they're going, and they're not going to be motivated. I was super motivated in the beginning, and I felt like led from so much passion because I was doing it exactly how Andy told me to do it. I was following her instructions to a T. And I don't even think I cheated the first program, not even one single thing. And I kept getting results. And that's what fueled me every single month to keep moving forward. As I was getting results, people were noticing, I was feeling great. Like, how can you not talk about that? So making sure that our customers are starting on the right foot and with all the information that they need, and actually making sure that they're following through with what we're asking them to follow through with. Because if they do one challenge group and they don't commit, and we don't notice that they're not committing, and we don't notice that they're not checking in, they're just going to be done. I think this is another thing that didn't work, that, they bought, that didn't work. And it's so not true. They just have to see how it works. They have to be fully involved in it. Talked about offering everybody to sign up as a coach. We talked about posting a little bit. We already went over this, but they were saying, like, how do we get our coaches that fall off to like remember why they started? And Ashley said that she goes back and talks with them, and she looks at their social media, and she goes, I'm telling you this, she said this to the crowd, I'm telling you guys, nobody wants to see the same like sweaty selfie with you holding your phone in front of your face every single day. They want to see the story. If you're going to post a fitness picture of yourself after your workout, or a picture of you drinking your shake, or some food that you're eating on meal plan, like what's the story behind that? Like, not here's my lunch or did my workout today. Like, what's the story? Like, they want to know more about you. So how can they know more about you unless you're saying something behind, like what's behind the photo? What's the story behind the photo? So make sure that when you're doing your Instagram throughout the day, that you're actually painting the picture and they're actually getting a little snapshot into your life, and not just like, oh, there's that girl who works out every single day with her unicorn juice, whatever that means. Like, kind of bringing them in more and leaving them to be like, okay, what is she doing today? Like, I want to check on Andrea's Instagram because I want to see what the heck she's doing today. Because yesterday she had a great day and it looked super fun. And so kind of like leaving them wanting more every day. So they are waking up and you're showing up on their feet. And then the last thing I wanted to say is what's holding you back? Like we talked about, and I'm going to open it up for questions, but what's holding you back? Like, do you have a goal or a vision for your life or for your family or for your team? And why, what's holding you back? What is it? Fear? Do you have certain fears that you're, I was reading Rachel Hollis's newest book. And one of the things I highlighted and underlined and circled was, what's your fear? Like from going all in your business and really thinking and knowing that you can do this, like what's holding you back? And I wrote on the side, like, I'm not smart enough. Like, I always go back to thinking like, I don't know enough. I'm not smart enough. Like, bottom line, like these people that are CEOs of their business and they create these like PDFs and they create this like, New Coach University, and they've created, like, I don't know that I could ever create that. I could take it from someone and I could share it, but like, I'm not smart enough to know how to make these things. And I just started realizing like, that's just something I keep telling myself. If I keep telling myself I'm not smart enough, guess what? I'm not gonna be smart enough. So you just have to take these things that you think are true for yourself, that are fears that are standing in your way, and flip it. Flip the script in your head, and you are smart enough, and you do have enough time, and you are good enough. And try to start talking more positively to yourself, because the things that you say to yourself over and over again, you're going to believe. And if I keep telling myself I'm not smart enough, then I'm just going to stay right here, not smart enough. So what's holding you guys back? What fears do you have? What goals do you have? And how are we going to get there? So I'm opening it up to you guys if you have any questions. I know it wasn't like a specific theme. I kind of like jumped around, but I wanted to kind of share. Sorry, it's really cold outside. Some of the things that I had heard at the trip that I thought were great. And basically the bottom line that I come back to is just that they're all exactly the same. And I know we've heard this from Andy and from Kim time and time again, but it's true. They're not any different. There's nothing different or extra special about them that makes them successful and us not. Like, they're the same as us. So what's holding us back? How can we break through those barriers? And how are we going to change that? And I'm really cold. So I'm opening it up to you guys.
How do I find the FAQ? How do I get to the FAQ things?
So on beachbody.com or Coach, right, Aunt Kim? It's on the Coach page, right? Yeah. And then you just type in FAQ, or if you go to forms and documents, I think it's under there. And anything you want to know question-wise, you just type it in and it'll bring up that page. Like Shakeology ingredients, I would just type Shakeology ingredients in the FAQ, and then it'll pop up. It's under forms and documents.
On the Coach page.
Yeah, does that make sense? Do you guys all know how to log into the Coach page? Yeah? Okay.
It's also, Paula, on BB Links.
Okay.
If you go to BB Links, under support, it says, I never actually knew this, but I figured it probably would be, it's Beachbody FAQs and self-serve support.
I didn't know that either. I don't really use the BB Links, but I started looking at it recently.
There's so many tools. There's really rad videos like to share with your people. Like if someone asks a question about, there's also, well, number one, if you go to like videos, there's all like videos to send to customers that on there. And there's also training videos on there. So like my challenge tracker app tutorial, Beachbody on Demand. Sorry, back time's not always so great in this house, especially when someone's a little bit grumpy today. Not me. the other adult in the home. Anyway, so yes, it's in there, Paula.
Okay, I see it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Something I want to say is that I kind of noticed when I was, one thing that I have done, and I don't know if you guys do this, but one thing I've really gotten is I actually follow, and I know you probably do, I actually message a ton of coaches. When people come and talk to me or ask me what I'm doing or what it is about, what is your response back to them? I don't know how many people have told me, you are so nice. I was so scared. And I'm like, really? They're like, I'm so always afraid. So I start a conversation with them. Even if it's no, I'm still talking to them. I'm giving them a part of my life. And I cannot tell you how many people that I have actual relationships with, even that are coaches that come on, that also give information, that check up on me, that see the day. And another thing I noticed is how many people like a post but actually do not comment on a post. So that is a great way for you to open something up. If you look at your Facebook, even Instagram, I was looking the other day, I saw someone with 2,000, likes or loves or whatever. And that person only had 8 comments. You go over to someone that had maybe 100 likes, only 2 comments. People are liking, but are they taking the time to say hello? That has also opened up and branched for me new ways of speaking to women, to talking to women and having them follow and building a relationship with people. It's not just, oh, there's Corinne. It's actually oh my gosh, Corinne, you made it today, because they know what I'm going through or whatever.
Right.
So
it's true. Our job is to build relationships. I mean, we're not just selling product. Our job is to build relationships with people and get to know them. And that's basically our job.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about following coaches is, and this might not apply to everybody, but I did notice myself on the trip having serious FOMO, because a lot of people that were there with their teams, and I found myself walking around the ship kind of comparing myself to all of the coaches there and the top coaches and the teams that had 30 or 40 people together, working out together on the deck. And you have to be careful that you aren't if you're the type of person who gets jealous or, compares yourself to other people. It was starting to go in a little bit of a negative way for me on this trip. And I just have to keep telling myself, there's no reason why they can't be me. So instead of being jealous or being oh, it sucks that I'm by myself here, just change it. And so when you're following coaches, just be careful that you're not comparing yourself to how they're running their business, because we all are in this together, but we all have different styles and techniques of how we are going to run the business.
For me, I totally I actually become friends. So for me, when I actually don't follow any coach that I really don't know. So they actually know me, and I'll do speaker a lot. I don't know if you guys use voice now, but so many people I've been doing that say that, oh my gosh, they've been coaching for years, or people that have been using Instagram for years and been I need to use this. I've never used this before, because they hear my voice and they put it to my face. It makes it so much more personable. And another thing is, yes, that can be true, Tara. And I decided to not care, because I have my journey too. So I actually am friends with them. I'll go, oh, hey girl. I am so happy. I actually have a couple, and I'm I can't wait to give you a hug at Summit or the next trip. I don't even care. I told all these people, I'm crazy gonna give you a hug. I'm gonna love you. And they're me too, girl. So don't, it is hard, but don't ever allow, when Tara knows this, was scared to death. I still am. Haven't signed anybody up. This is a life for me though. I have a lot of health issues going on. So I just have to keep pushing. And what are you doing to do that? So I appreciate you putting that on. So I'm showing up, Tara.
You are. Good job. Does anybody else have anything that they want to ask or say or, ask? Is everybody going to Summit? I know you're not, Corinne.
I'm going to try to buy my ticket this week.
Oh, good. Good. I think they're on sale, $189.
Yeah, actually, if I don't, depending on everything and how it goes, I did see ticket sales, and just depending on my journey and what happened. We don't know. So
Don't tease me. I will throw you on that plane.
girl, if I can get there, I will go. Okay. But I just don't know what these appointments and what the surgery bring and stuff. But I told my friends the same thing, and I'm like, girl, if I'm fine, I'm gonna hop on that plane. I'm gonna put the money in there. So don't worry. I can't eat McDonald's, but I'll just eat the shake.
I'll make you shakes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right? Okay. It's good for me.
Are you going, Christine? No? Andrea, you're going, right? Oh, yeah, we're flying out. All right, guys. That's really all I had to say. Thanks for listening to me. It's like super nerve-wracking to lead a call because you start to think like, what am I even going to say? Do they even care what I have to say? But it's such good practice to get on here and tell your story and how you started and relay information that you get so that you never know what's going to be that little nugget of information that someone needs to like reach out to someone that they've been avoiding or whatever.
I learned a ton from everything you said.
Oh, good.
I think that's exactly what I need to do is keep my passion inside of me and I have some health issues going on with me as well. And I need to let my passion and my fire and my journey just show through me. And I think that's what's going to.
I remember one of my friends that I didn't realize was watching, you know how sometimes people say, oh, I've been watching you. And I'm like, I didn't realize that you were, sometimes it'll tell you who's been seeing your stories, but there's always those people that still watch you and that you don't know are watching you. And I remember my friend from high school saying, I don't know what you're doing, but I know you and this isn't you and you seem really happy and I'm doing this just because I know who you are and you seem like super happy and super passionate about whatever it is that you're doing. So yeah, like let's do it together. And it was good to hear because I wasn't like trying to be really passionate and trying to like, I just was so natural. And it was good to hear that kind of thing gets noticed by people because I mean, so much has changed for me in the last 2 years. I can't even explain how much it's changed and in so many different ways, not just weight loss, not just getting muscles I never had before, like being able to sit on this call and talk to you guys without like feeling like I was going to throw up. Like that's huge. Like I've never been able to talk to a room of people. I just have always had issues. And it's just like all these little victories that I'm so grateful for. So that's all.
I'm so proud of you, Tara. Thank you for your call tonight.
Yeah.
You did so good. I love the information.
Good.
Yes, it was helpful.
All right, I'm going to text Kim that we're wrapping up because she asked me to. She just has to stop this call because I don't have power. I'm still just down the totem pole.
Girl, stop. You'll get there. You're working your way up. Remember, we all started somewhere, right?
Yeah, we do. That's for sure.
Okay.
They talked about PD, which is another thing. Like, I'll pick up a book, but I'm just not a reader. And I do notice when I'm reading more consistently that day I feel a little bit more centered in my mind. Like I feel like depending on what you're reading. And that was one of the questions I asked is, do you make your coaches all read certain things? And they said personal development is just that. It's personal. Like whatever, people are going through different things in their life and they need a certain kind of book for a certain kind of time in their life. So one of the coaches says, if I have my coaches read a book, if they hate it, stop reading it. One girl says Danielle Natoni said she does Rise and Energize. So her whole team does this. They wake up, they drink their Energize, and while they're waiting for the tingles, she said, they read personal development. So 10, 15 minutes, and then they do their workout. It's like that's like their thing that their team does. And I thought it was really cool. Like we need a thing. Like what's our thing going to be?
Really cool, actually. Yeah.
So yeah, personal development is super important. But again, personal and everyone's looking for. There's so many books out there. I'm just now still